I'll try and I'll try
All right,
not to screw it
guys,
up.
welcome back to another episode. I'm joined here with Don Henig. Is that how you pronounce your last name?
You did it perfect. You're the
Amazing,
best.
amazing. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, your industry, and then we'll go into this here.
Sure. So, my background's crazy. We could take the entire time and just go into my background because I've built so many different companies in different industries. You find people that are, the serial entrepreneur, and typically they're in the same industry and they, which makes sense. But for me, I built a financial planning company, a mortgage company, sold that, a mortgage broker franchise. It's something that's never been done, sold that. A publishing company and the soccer publishing, sold that. Another technology company, sold that. Entertainment company. We did 8 feature-length films with the biggest name stars, and we created and produced the Broadway show Rock of Ages, which ended up as the 30th longest running play of all time. And we created it. It was just me and a friend. We just decided to do this. Then built another, nationwide mortgage company, one of the largest in the country. Then another one that's one of the largest in the country. Bought and sold 300 houses in 18 months because I was bored. Just one thing after another. And then I retired for 5 years. And my old friend of mine and I talked about the e-commerce world and Amazon. And I knew nothing about it, but I was so intrigued because I love helping people grow businesses and I love mentoring young people. I just saw it as an opportunity to help a lot of people. So we created a model that's never been done before. And I came out of retirement to do this. Crazy.
I love that. I love that.
Crazy.
And did you that's an amazing resume and repertoire. Like I would love to dig deep into that.
Anything you
Maybe
want.
another time. I think I since you mentioned e-commerce and our audiences mainly that, how did that transition go there? Was it kind of like, okay, this is a new thing for me, or did you see a need first and like, oh, this is wide open, let us jump in?
What happened was I knew nothing. When I bought something on Amazon, I thought, it was Jeff Bezos was, wrapping the package and shipping it himself. I had no idea how it worked. I thought everything came from Amazon. And when my friend told me about it and that there were millions of Amazon sellers, I was like, wow. I literally went to bed that night. You probably haven't done this yet, but as you get older, you stop dreaming about the big hit, if you will, or dreaming that you're going to become a professional baseball player or a football player or a soccer player or whatever it's going to be. You stop those dreams that are a little unrealistic. I went to bed that night and I had a dream of me standing on a stage with thousands of people in the audience. And I couldn't tell you what I was saying. All I could tell you is that I was full. My whole body was full because I was helping all these people grow their businesses and, improve their lives. And that's what I love doing. So with that, I woke up the next day and said, oh my God, I had this amazing dream last night. I think this is what I'm supposed to do. And so then we decided to look at the models and what is needed. So I called 3 sellers that I got from my accountants, large accountants in New York. And at the end of each conversation, I didn't know what FBA was. I never heard of I didn't know anything. And I just asked them questions. I was just trying to learn. I asked them all the same question at the end. I said, so what do you need? They all had the same answer. We need good sources of capital. There's no good sources of capital. I'm like, oh, that's right up my alley. So then I did the research on the sources of capital and I saw what they meant. The marketing was great, but they were not really good for sellers. So we created something that's never been done before. And if you think about that, think about this, how crazy this is. Lending's been done for 2,000 years. It's been done one way. It's always done in the lender's favor so that the lender never loses money, and it's never done fair. It's never fair. And we created something that's fair. Our very first seller used the words, this is imminently fair. And he's right. That's exactly what it is. It's fair.
That's amazing. And I want to unravel that. And of course, if you guys didn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah,
The background behind you will give you a little hint. But before we unpack Accrumi and
sure.
how you guys have changed lending, which is phenomenal, I want to still touch up on that, the purpose, the reason
Yeah,
why you got into this. You did mention helping people, seeing them succeed, that dream of thousands of people. That's
yep.
kind of a calling and a purpose. Can you shed a little more light on what kind of makes you tick and keeps you going for this industry?
Well, I'm going to tell you, it was not easy to, walk away from a 5-year retirement because life was so good. Somebody was having a part. We live in New York, and my son-in-law's mother was turning 60 in 2 weeks, and they were having a party. Hey, we'll fly out. We'll go there, and then we'll go to Zion for a week, and then we'll go to Bryce for a week. Like there was nothing on the schedule. Another friend was going on a business trip to Vienna and Prague. Hey, we'll go with you. Boom, we're over in Vienna and Prague for quite a while and just had a ball. That's the way life was going. So there was no reason to stop that. So before I actually 100% committed, I had to find the classic, what is my why? Like, why do I want to do this? Like, why will I kill myself to make this happen? And I came up with what is something that is most important to me. And, if I make another, $10 million, what would I do with it? Another $100 million, what would I do with it? And to me, the number one thing in my mind was to try to help stop human trafficking. I don't think there's anything more important in the world right now. And it's so disgusting to me and so hurtful that that's my why. That's what I had to live for, to go and drive it. Now, I don't know anybody that's been in this or anything like that. It's just something that, that's my why. That's
Sure.
why if I earn the money I think I'm going to earn, that's where just about all of it's going to be going.
Sure, I appreciate that, and that's a big why, and I think something that everyone should find. There's a million world problems, but focusing
Oh
on
yeah.
one. So now I'm curious to go into Accrumi and how that's going to fulfill that big why. Tell us a little bit about what Accrumi is, how you guys started, what was the driving force, and maybe where you're at today. We can break those up, but what is
Sure.
Accrumi?
Yeah, so let me give everybody a quick overview of Accrumi, and you're going to quickly learn how we are so different from everything else that's ever been created in the finance industry. So here's what we do. We give sellers money to grow. It's all about growth. If you need money to pay bills, there are other situations out there that are fine. But if you are looking to grow your business like crazy, like I kid around, it doesn't apply to you, my friend, but it barely applies to me. But if you want to grow your business like a man whose hair is on fire, searching for a pond, that's the saying, then we are the ticket. And here's what we do. We give them the money to grow. We don't charge any interest. We don't charge any fees. And I'm going to warn you right now, the first thing that you're going to say, and everybody says, is sounds too good to be true. Or, like what's the catch? So there's no interest, there's no fees. We don't have a term. Use the money as long as you want or as short as you want. We don't have to tell you, to pay it back in 3 months or 6 months or 2 years. Use it as long as you want. And there are no required monthly payments. You pay us back whenever it's right for you. So think about it. The easiest way to think about it is think about wholesale, the wholesale model in the e-commerce world. Easiest way to think about it. You're doing wholesale right now. You're going into Q4 and you have suppliers and distributors with all these different products. And now you have 20 different products that you're selling. And you have an opportunity. One of your suppliers comes to you and says, hey, would you like to, sell whatever it is, Bic, whatever, Gillette razor blades. And we're going to give them to you at a 50% discount. And we've got, $10,000 of them, they'll sell out in a month. And then we have these other products and, another 20,000 for these, and they'll sell out in a month. And you look at them and like, holy cow, this is a great opportunity. What's better, taking the money out of your business and sending it to a lender, or taking the money in your business and going buy these other products and making more money in Q4?
Hmm.
Don't pay us. Take the money and grow your business when you have the opportunities. But now that same seller, come February, March, April, is probably going to be slow. People are not going to be buying as much as they were. So what happens when you slow down? You end up with cash in the bank. You're flush with cash. It makes no sense to leave the cash in the bank. So take the cash and pay us down then. So what we get out of all of this is we get a small percentage of profits. And we only get profits at a high level. The way it works is that the seller earns 100% of the profits on their capital. And on top of that, they earn 50% of the profits on our capital. So they can't lose. They literally can't lose unless they just take our money and leave it in the bank. Then nobody wins. So we're counting on them growing and making money. And if they don't make money, you know what we make? Nothing. No fee, no penalty, no nothing.
Yeah, that sounds like you said,
too good to be true.
Yeah, and that fair equation, I don't think any lending vehicle is doing this, and you guys are putting all the risk on you.
That's right.
Now, I would be curious how you guys find out what those funds are that can be provided to the individual seller, because I'm sure it's going to be different for each seller.
Yep.
Do you guys do that based on financials, sales history, sales data? How does that work?
I'm gonna come to that in a second, but I'm just gonna give you one quick thing that I think you're gonna find interesting. When we did this, my primary partner Eric and I were sitting at lunch, and we literally were having this conversation. And I said to him, after I looked at the industry and I looked at the lending options, I said, I don't really want to play in this industry because I don't like what I'm seeing. And he said, well, why don't we create a new model? And I'm thinking, again, lending's been around forever, a new model. And so we sat at the Penn Club in New York City for about an hour and a half, and we penciled this whole thing out. And I went, and literally, that's how long it took. It didn't take that, it wasn't, months of thinking and, brainstorming and research. This was an idea that we put together and thought about it. I went home, wrote it up, and then I built a spreadsheet around it. And I called them and I said, oh my God, not only is this great for the sellers, the numbers are off the charts for the sellers, but if I'm correct on how good it is for the sellers, we're going to do great too. And that's really what it came down to. So now I talked too long. So what was the question again? I'm sorry.
And I do appreciate that caveat because you're putting the sellers first and giving that upfront value. And then and only then when you've provided that and their business has grown because of those funds, which
right,
I think 99% of sellers need.
Yeah.
At least if they're good with their branding, marketing, they know their position in the marketplace. But going back to the actual system,
I remember your question.
The process of how it works. How do you guys determine, hey, this seller can get 100 grand, this seller can get $1 million?
So I'm going to give you how we determine how much we give to each seller. It's so basic, it's so simple. It's almost ridiculously simple. And I'll also talk about what do we call profit, because that's another important topic. So how much would we give a seller? So what we will do is we'll match their capital. So what is capital? And here's the way we define capital. It's really three things. It's your inventory at cost. And we're only doing FBA right now. We're adding FBM probably at the end of the month. So the inventory you have at FBA or at a 3PL that's going to FBA, we count that. So let's say you had $20,000 of inventory at cost, and you have a due from Amazon. Your receivable from Amazon is $10,000. Add those two up, and you have $3,000 in the bank. All right, in your business bank account. So what do we have? We have $20,000 in inventory, $10,000 in a receivable, and $3,000 in the bank. That's $33,000. we would give you $33,000, up to 33. And what we tell people, and this goes for every financial situation, only take what you need. So if we approve you for 33,000, don't feel like you have to take 33,000. You could take 10,000. It's take what you can deploy now. Isn't that in your best interest? If you can go out and use that example of wholesale, but we do wholesale, private label, and retail arbitrage. But you can take that 10,000 and apply it to your business today. Take 10,000. Next week, you need another 3,000. We approved you for 33. Come back, and in our portal that the seller is in all the time, it shows them that they have another $23,000 available. I need $3,000. It's in their account the same day. There's no underwriting. It's done. So that's it. So we look at the inventory is all we look at. No financial statements. We don't look at, credit reports or any of that stuff. We look at just the inventory. And we built a system to analyze the inventory to say how fast would it sell and will it be profitable? Those are the two things.
That's very simple.
Right? I'm a simple guy.
Yeah, that's pretty
simple. Oh, let me tell you profit.
Yes.
There's the other key thing. What do we call profit? It's your revenue from Amazon. All right. And just FBA right now. And then less your cost of goods sold and less all your Amazon fees, including your PPC. So, some people would call that their net profit. Some will call it their gross profit. Depends on who they are, but that's what we call profit.
Okay. And any marketing outside of that or employees, none of that goes into it. It's just on the FBA side.
Right. Yeah, because we can't see that outside of the system.
Sure.
So, it's a good question because a seller that has, 20 employees, this may not work for them. Sure. Because they have so many expenses outside of the Amazon system that we don't count.
Okay, so let's take that profit equation and let's just hypothetically assume the profit is 10,000 a month for a particular seller.
Sure.
And with their inventory, receivables from Amazon and cash on hand, they're at 30,000. Again, just a hypothetical. So you guys would offer that 30,000, and if is the profit being tracked in the software as well?
Yes.
And do you guys see, okay, after X month, 3 months, 4 months, whatever, that okay, you made this profit on the money that we lent you, and is that how the percentage is calculated off that profit?
So you have a couple questions there. So we calculate it all the time, every day. Mm-hmm. And the seller sees it, we see it, there's nothing hidden. You see every single piece. And if you want to go back 2 months ago and look on a certain day, you'll see that too. I mean, everything is there. So now we calculate it every day, but we figure out the numbers at the end of each month. So whatever your profit was at the end of each month, that's what we calculate on.
Got it.
And how do we calculate the profit? So it's a percentage of capital. So I'm going to use an example, and just because it's a simple example. Let's say you had $20,000 of capital. Okay, your inventory, your cost, your receivable, just call it $20,000, mm-hmm. And we give you 20,000. So you take the full 20. So what are we? We're 50-50. You have 50% of the capital. We have 50% of the capital. Mm-hmm. So whatever percentage of the capital we represent, 50% in this case, cut it in half. So we would get 25% of the profit that month. So mm-hmm. let me play this out. Let's assume you had an ROI of 10%. So on your money, you would have earned $2,000, right? You have $20,000 of capital. Your ROI is 10%. You're going to earn $2,000. Now we give you 20,000. You're going to earn another $2,000. By the way, we earn nothing for the first 30 days, zero. So you're going to earn another $2,000, theoretically, but that's pretty good. And what happens? We would get 25%. So you're going to get $3,000 instead of the $2,000 that you were earning, and we would get $1,000. right? So we got 25% of the profits. So how did it work? You got 100% of the profit on your capital, the 2,000, and you got half the profit on our capital, 1,000. So you ended up with increasing your profit and increasing your ROI by 50%, and you didn't take on any debt, and you didn't sign a personal guarantee, and you had no monthly payments. So now what happens the next month? So now let's assume we both leave the money in. So you have $23,000 of capital now, right? And we have 21,000 because we didn't take anything out. You didn't pay us. So now you are it's not 50-50 anymore. It might be 52-48. So we would earn a smaller percentage of the profits. So it's as if in that next month, instead of us investing in you 20,000, we actually invested 21,000 now. And so that profit that we earn just accrues. And now let's say 3 months from now, you're doing great, you're killing it, you have money in the bank, and you decide to pay us. And you might pay us 1,000, you might pay us 5,000, you might pay us 25,000, whatever you want. You know, it's totally up to you. Or you might say, I have more opportunities to grow. Can I give you one example?
Please.
Great guy, young guy. He's 23 now, but when he came to us, he was 22, out in Vegas. And in last December, he came to us. His profit in December was $1,500. So small. In January, we gave him $25,000. His profit in January was $2,500. Then we gave him more money the next month, more money the next month, and so forth. By May, his net profit was $44,000. By July, his net profit was $56,000. This is per month I'm talking, you know, not cumulative. So I'm pretty sure that by the end of this year, he's going to be somewhere in the $80,000 to $100,000 a month in profit. And he never could have done it, never could have done it without us. So when he came to us, the size of his business was like, you know, $50,000. That's the total size of his business. Now it's up right around, I haven't looked in the last, you know, month, but it was right around $500,000.
Wow.
Yeah. How fantastic is that? But we have tons of those stories.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like this is kind of mind-blowing when you think about the lending world, and you guys have like flipped it on its head and are kind of a partner, not in the business. There's no equity, but it's on the capital that we've given and the profit that capital has generated.
Right.
Now, of course, this can go into a lot of negative places too. Like one question that comes up is if the seller after month 3 doesn't want this business anymore, or goes and spends in different parts of the business, do you guys have the right to pull monthly from the capital that you've given, or do both of you, does both the lender and the seller have to agree that, hey, we're both going to keep this money in, or how does that dynamic work?
So first off, you said it correctly the first time, because we are actually investing in the company, but you're correct. We don't take any ownership in the company. The seller owns 100% of the company. And if we see, we always have the right to take our money out. We always have that right. So for pretty much for any reason, but you know, it never happens really. It's happened a few times where we've had sellers that have gone 3 to 5 months and not made money. And then what we do is we call them and we say, hey, look, this is not working. You know, you're not making any profit. And, you know, we've tried to help you. We've done this. We've introduced you to consultants. We've, you know, brought on, you know, some things. We told you where your problems are. And if we can't help them turn a profit, then we have to say, look, we've got to take our money out. And typically what happens is we'll say, look, here's what we'll do. We'll take a third of our money out now. We'll take a third next month, and a third in the last month, and we'll call it quits. And every single time they all say, yeah, I know, I don't know what the hell happened. I should have done what you told us, you know, things like that. But we're not here to hurt people. We're here to help people. And they're kind of blown away that we don't just come and take everything and, you know, try to kill them, but we don't do that.
I like that. I like that a lot. Again, you guys are kind of disrupting an industry. So you have to
Yeah.
lead with that value and putting them first. And I think in the back end and in the long term, it's going to be very, very beneficial.
I
So
agree. So stay with that for one more second. When we started the company, we had a team meeting day one. And the way I started off the meeting was I said, listen, if anybody has an idea for the company, we want to put it on the table, obviously. But here, if you ever come to me and say, hey, Don, we have a great idea how we can make more money, I don't want to hear it. If you come to me and tell me we have a great idea on how our sellers can make more money, then that's what we're going to implement. That's what I want to know. Because if the sellers make money, then we make money.
yeah, that's beautifully put, and something recently that I myself and our team have been thinking around as well. It's, for example, in the 3PL industry, if we can help our clients 10x their revenue and their sales by a strategy that we've seen or are utilizing, I want to put that on the table ASAP.
Absolutely.
If they can sell more, we're warehousing their goods, we're getting those fulfillment orders, and it's a win-win. So
Yeah.
before, when I first started, it was all about chasing the X percentage increase on fulfillment, or it was just like these games of increasing profit at expense of something else. But now it's like, okay, if I can help them 10x their sales, it's only going to help me fulfill more of their orders. So
That's the right way to think.
We as a team focus on how do we help that client sell more.
That's the right way to think.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys are.
And by the way, I believe I don't have this 100%, but I'm 99.9 that one of the things that we also count on the expenses is the 3PL cost. Whatever the 3PL cost is applied to the FBA inventory counts as a cost.
Sure, and that makes sense. It's part of the inventory labor. So
yeah,
that exactly. Well, this has been super fascinating. Even for myself, I know we met recently about a few months ago, but me and a business partner are thinking about lending, so I might be reaching out to you here shortly.
If you have any questions about anything, whether it be us or the industry in general, you want to understand, like, sellers don't. I'm going to tell you one last thing here, because it's important. I am seeing more sellers coming to us right now that are in trouble. And the reason they're in trouble is they went to another company or, multiple companies, and they ended up in such debt with monthly payments so high. So if you're taking out a loan and your monthly payment is going to be more than your net income, more than your profit, you are on a fast forward down to bankruptcy. So just think about it. If you bought a house and you're making a net profit, you're making income of $5,000 a month personally, and you buy a house and your monthly mortgage payment is $10,000 a month. How long before you go bankrupt and you can't make those payments? Same thing in business, but it's a problem because the biggest type of loans that are out there today are these revenue-based loans. And they carry a very, very, very high monthly payment. Even the Amazon loans, they're only 10 months in term. And so the monthly payment is huge.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean,
Amazon can kill you.
Amazon is in the profit generation business, and obviously the way they've set it up internally with their system, that's on them. But
and a typical
and as a tip.
And as a typical lender, they're protecting themselves 100%. They're giving you money and taking back, 10% a month. Like, holy cow, they have no risk, zero risk.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, again, this has been very, very helpful and very enlightening. How can people connect with you if they have more questions, specifically on their account? Where's the best place to find you?
Yeah, so I'm going to say two things. Number one, it's always fun to connect with people on LinkedIn. For me personally, I'm one of those people that communicates. So, it bugs me when I reach out to somebody and I go, hey, blah, 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 I'm in the same industry as you, and they just ignore me. You reach out to me, I'll respond to you. So it's on LinkedIn. It's my full name, Donald Henig, Henig. Or if you want to reach out to me on email, that's fine too. It's a very simple email, Don @accrueme.com. That's it.
Well, that's wonderful. I'll make sure to leave those descriptions at the end and in the description section. And guys, if you found any value out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, share your thoughts and feedback with Don. I think we basically covered everything that there is to this. Of course, now if you're interested in doing this personally for yourself and your business, all of those numbers for everyone's business is going to be different. So that's what you have to figure out. But this is as simple as it's going to get and as beneficial to you as a seller. So I hope you found some value out of this. Don, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, my friend.
Yeah, that was really, really, really good. Thank you so much. And quick, we really got into it. That was great.
All right. Hopefully we'll do this another time and we can kind of go through some specifics, or if it works out with ourselves. Obviously don't want to share the financial details and stuff, but how it breaks down, maybe we can do a follow-up later on.
I have no problem disclosing everything.
Amazing. I love it. All right. We'll chat soon.
Thanks. Really appreciate it.